Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Today we're looking at the fact that right now staring at volatility, watching that thing start to tick up after some pretty good little triangle, almost like a continuation. So we'll see what happens with this going forward. But today we are paying attention to a bunch of things in the SPY. We have another week's worth of volatility in one freaking day. We have a week's worth of volatility. Yeah, sometimes this is even considered a month's worth of volatility in one day. So we will most likely be seeing some rip around kind of behavior unless we see that do nothing and the IV really crushes some people. But an area that we want to pay attention to, anything in these little blocks in here. A lot of the time, these stocks, by the way, if you go into pretty much any of them, they're going to show you that block a little bit better right here, just so you are aware. We can see across from here, we kind of have this block up in here that we want to be paying attention to. You'll notice, ooh, look at that, we're right there. So that's just one thing I would consider at this point, just looking for that big block of price action. But the SPY for the time being, right, the thing that I'm leaning towards is some kind of downward move first that goes down to our 68% line in the sand for the day, 503.93, your daily expected move downside, and maybe go into test 502. Going to retest the actual breakout area would be very, very interesting with some kind of ABC type of move. What would this mean for the Qs? That would mean that the Qs would head down into their breakout area, going down into this some kind of ABC, and then we have to see if that is able to curl back up into positive territory. The riskier thing at this point would be if the 2-hour is able to cross down. That would say down, 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 and watch out, because that can keep going, right? That's a scenario that it can keep going. But if we actually pay attention to this, we pay attention to the probabilities, that would be very low probability for that to go. So if that turns back around in the next few trading sessions, we can see some kind of 2-hour divergence down here, and that would mark a very good low for us. That would overall possibly even mark some kind of daily move to the upside, but we may be leaning in the bear market type direction if that were to take place. So I'm not necessarily, eager for a bear market. I like bear markets. I like the volatility that comes because big swings, right? You're able to make good money in these big swings. Even if you only catch 1 or 2 trades, they can be very, very good money. So something that I would like either way is bear market. Okay, I'm down with that. But if this is going to go to new all-time highs, then I think this is how you would do it. You would shoot down to that 502, and then you would possibly see some positivity into the end of the day. And then next week, we're able to see this carve out and say, yes, we are a bottom. Are we at that stage where we can call this an exact bottom right now? Not necessarily, right? Not necessarily. Why? Because we have not even tried to go up and test 550, right? We really have not even gotten to the point of 550. And I think that's a very important thing to watch for. Now, a key thing here is, the thing that we've been discussing is ultimately we need to get all the way to 576 to really be back on the bull side, but taking back 550 is a good sign. What we would look for is if we go down and make that divergence point on the 2-hour, then we react above 550, we would look for that lower high in those type of areas. So we'll be paying attention. It can rip higher than that, right? But we would look for that to overall get too excited most likely at that point. So we'll pay attention. I think you want to see some good strength here. You want to see daily charts curl up. That's very obvious. But if you want this to be bullish, I think that maybe the first reaction isn't going to be the right one. The risk is if you head to the upside, let's talk about both sides to this. If you head to the upside and you curl up on this MACD, well, you could head up to our daily expected move of 545.23 to the upside, get outside of that weekly and daily, and then you could see something like this. And this is something that I really would not like to see because this would add more credibility to we're going to behave like a bear market. So I just wanted to be aware of that. One thing I want to pay attention to as well today is the VVIX. So we will be talking about the VVIX at select moments during this morning stream. And if you want to join us over on Rumble, we will be live tomorrow. Oh, no, tomorrow. We will be live for the end of the day today. We will be live for our closing stream over on Rumble, so make sure to join us over there. Hope you had a great time at the zoo. Here, the stock market was behaving like a wild animal. That's facts. And that's why overall, just before I left for the zoo around these times in here, right after 10 o'clock, I was like, let me just make that 95% line for the day and see what happens. We actually came down below that. And so when we came down below that, I actually bought a little bit just to see if that could produce some upside, if this was all we're going to get. But I'm aware that ABC can happen. So started repositioning in these type of areas again, right? I overall said in the video last night, if you're a position style, like I'm really have been lately, those positions have turned into day trades for me most of the time, right? This has turned into a day trade. I was able to get out and make money in the play, which is great because Amazon went the wrong way for me for a bit. So that's fantastic. You love when you actually make money, and good money, after going through some of that turbulence for a long time. So that's fantastic. But for the time being, for me, it's all about where do I want to get that position? Where do I want to get that position? And where do I want to get that position overall? Because this is a 95% line, and we've already made a move back into the 68%. So I think it's a good likelihood we see that. But the risk would be very high for another bigger drop, right? If you're looking for the bigger drop, well, then this 2-hour will be crossed down. But I'm just saying, if the 2-hour never crosses back up, well, then that could be really, really bad. But if it can do this and then cross back up into positive territory, you would see divergence on your MACD and RSI at the same time. So there's the bad part about the price action right now is because the volatility is so high, there's so many different things that can happen. And so if you just pay attention to when momentum shifts and you find a good signal, say thank you to the signals, because this was a fan-freaking-tastic trade, 501 all the way to here. And I saw someone do the math on this, and it was like, if you did a 0 DTE at that time and you held all the way to 545 and you took it at 501, you could have turned like $100 into like $100 or $50,000 really fast. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. That's not the game I like to play, right? I think it's more about consistency and being right over time. But every once in a while, maybe I'll start to do those type of things with these signals. We'll see. The down move yesterday was a large result of hedge funds who got stuck in the wrong side of a trade, pushing it down there. And pullback was the most likely thing for yesterday, right? We understand that. Pullback was very obvious for yesterday. Landing inside the weekly expected moves, even after a volatile time, is something to consider, right? That's where you land most of the time. We haven't been landing in there. So it'd be very nice for us to land in a weekly expected move for once. 1% move every 10 minutes. That's right. And you're experiencing 1%. You're experiencing a 1% time in the market. Like, let's just make sure everyone's clear on that. You're experiencing a 1% moment for the month. You experience multiple 1% moments for 2 weeks. And now you're experiencing 1% moments for the entire day, right? This is not a 1% moment for the week, but it was a 1% moment for the day. That's very obvious, right? That was a 1% moment for the day. So you're experiencing 1% moment into another 1% moment, into a 1% moment, into a 1% moment, because this came back down below that 95 line again. So on the daily scale, you are experiencing some of the craziest volatility that I've ever seen. And everyone's focused on things over the weekend, and that's why we have that poll there for the weekend, right? We have that poll up this morning because I just want to see where people's mental is at. Are you willing to hold things over the weekend? Because a lot of people are saying, oh, we could get bad news, we could get bad news, we could get bad news over the weekend. And in my mind, I just go, well, we don't know anything that's going on, really. We just saw a good push. We don't really know if we could get bad news or good. That's unknown. But people are really focusing on the bad, bad, bad. And so I'm going to say, well, I'm just going to position myself based on the data that I do have. I hope we pull down to 502. I really do. I think 502 would be fantastic. I guess, those daily expected moves are pretty big. Let me screenshot those real quick. I wasn't really planning on it today, but I just think like having these in the bottom right corner is a very nice thing. All right, and let's get that on there. That way you guys have it in case we do click around a little bit today. We do like to click around, don't we? We like to look at a bunch of stuff. The good part about the market right now is everything's kind of moving. 545, 23. Okay. Everything's kind of moving in, I would say, in tandem, right? We kind of see this look, and then we go, okay, what about the Qs? Oh, well, we kind of see this look, and we see IWM. We see a more volatile look, right? That could go all the way back down to 172. That wouldn't be a necessarily good thing. DIA, similar look, right? Divergence at the low, pulled down into where? Well, right into this area in here, right? This is why I'm saying, like, pay attention to this whole thing here, because that's where a lot of these things are adding up to. They look a little bit different on each chart, but that's the block that I'm actually paying attention to. I know I kept circling here. Apple, again, another one, paying attention to in here, paying attention to in here, and where are we going to? Well, we're actually going below that towards that gap, so maybe include the gap on that as well. But again, Tesla, another one coming down into this block right here again. So Amazon coming down into this block right here again. So it's very nice that everything looks similar, which means if we see confirmations, if we get a hint at all, that would be fantastic. But I just don't like that everyone's, I understand that it's kind of a risky time. It's a scary time, you would say. It's a scary time, but the reward is getting bigger and bigger to the upside. So the fact that people are leaning towards and constantly talking about bad, 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 bad news, I'm just like, well, don't forget, it goes in two ways. If you don't know the information before I flip a coin, I don't know if it's going to land on heads or tails, right? And that's the situation you're in right now. We have no idea what's going on behind the scenes with these tariffs. Well, and CJ, I'm glad you brought up the word risky. Okay, so let's talk about the word risky over the weekend. And I'm not trying to do this to confuse you guys. I'm not trying to do this to suggest to do anything. I'm just going to talk about risk and how it's kind of a complex time to make those decisions, right? So the reason it's risky to hold over the weekend, are you saying it's risky because stocks are going to head down, right? Stocks are going to head down. Well, that's one point that you could consider as risk, right? The risk is that we are going to see lower prices. There is risk of a big drop coming. There is risk that we drop over the weekend. So I'm not going to hold stocks, right? Maybe I'm not going to hold stocks, right? But actually, by not holding stocks, you're actually risking the fact that good news could come out and you could potentially miss a good move, right? So you see how risk kind of goes both ways. It's just you're saying I would rather not be in the crash moment. That means your mind is more dedicated to, hey, preserving my money. It's a risky time. Maybe I'm waiting for things to chill out. I think that's perfectly fine. I'm always a patience kind of guy. I like patience, patience, patience. I don't mind that at all. Oh no, you're good, CJ. I just wanted to talk about it. Um, I just want you to understand that risk goes both ways. You have the risk of missing out, and then you have the risk of more downside. And it's just that's the decision time you're in today, I think. Do I want to hold things over the weekend? Well, maybe in a way I can do it intelligent enough to say, hey, maybe I do want to hold things over the weekend, but maybe I want to pay attention to what? Position size, right? Position size. Because here's the thing, if the market, right, position size kind of solves all problems. Because if I take a position and then stocks go down, well, then with that position size, I can say, hey, yeah, I knew that there was risk there, but I also knew there was risk that we could get good news. So I wanted to be in a little bit just in case. And that's perfectly fine. Because now if you have that position size and then it ends up being a good reaction, at least I have some exposure. But position size is going to be a very, very important thing in my mind when talking about all of these things, right? It's going to be very, very important because you want to mitigate risk while also understanding that we're outside of a monthly expected move and we have not broken key levels. We have not seen this curl up. So you're in a time where it's, hey, which way are we going to go today? Is this an A, B, C down? Is this going to trap towards the high? Right? There's too many scenarios to really get through for me to dictate, like, yes, this is going to be just fantastic right away, or this is going to be really, really bad right away. Right? The thing that I would read into is, what do I see on my chart right now? Yes, I am leaning towards this. Is the MACD leaning towards that? The answer would be no. Is the 5-day leaning towards that? The answer would be no. So is the price action leaning towards that? The answer would be no. The RSI is kissing that signal line, but it's above 50. So the answer would be no. Weirdly enough, everything is going that way still, right? I just want to make that very clear. Nothing here is suggesting that this has to be absolutely terrible yet. I just want to be clear with that. There's our theater at this point. All countries want and need deals. Yeah, I think everyone needs the United States consumer base. And that's what we talked about last Saturday. Everyone needs the United States consumer base because we are addicted to spending money. We are willing to put ourselves in crippling debt to spend money. We are willing to go into, when we're looking for a $200,000 home, we're willing to buy a $400,000 home because we're allowed to get that amount of loan from a bank, right? That's not the best behavior in my mind, right? Taking on something that can make you house poor does not sound good, but we do that with purses, with cars, with everything. So they need our consumer base. Morning, Luca. Oh, well, don't say morning to myself. My bad. Morning, Fred. How's it going? Slot Machine, how's it going? Open group, some good stuff today. I like the participation in the chat. Love it, love it, love it. CJ, give us some participation in the chat. US raises tariffs more just to be higher because bigger is better. No, I think you're misunderstanding the point of tariffs. The point of tariffs isn't necessarily to us to screw over another country. That's not the point here. The point of the tariffs is to say we want an even playing field. We want an even playing field. We are not going to subsidize everyone's economy anymore. I think that's the main point of the tariffs. And the reason that he's saying that is because he's like, hey, you need our consumer base, right? You need our consumer base. So let's do this. Business here needs to change. We need better jobs for people. We can't be paying, 50 cents an hour overseas for things anymore. It's just not good for our people. It's good for the rich people. Because I came up with this assessment before, right? I came up with this assessment a week ago, not just now, not a day ago, not after this move by Trump, right? I came up with this assessment a week ago. I don't think that this will be anything too crazy. I think people are losing their minds when this could end up being a very, very good thing. Short-term risk, yeah, for sure. You can't ignore the fact that you have short-term risk. Qs. Okay, didn't expect to move coming in. TLT was interesting, not a lot of implied volatility. Let me just read off some of this stuff real quick. I want you guys to understand how volatile today is. Today for the SPY, 75% implied volatility. For the Qs, 80%. IWM, 80%. DIA, 71%. For Tesla, 119%. NVIDIA, 100%. AMD, 116%. AMC GME, yeah, those things bumped up. DJT, 186%. SoFi, 153%. The little guys, Palantir, 112%. A lot of volatility there. AVGO, 116. Guess what? JP Morgan just had earnings. Maybe we should go look at that. They gave that out this morning, correct? Okay, let's see what happened with this. Oh, man, yeah. Imagine there's just no move today for JP Morgan. Hey, overall, hey, good numbers. The thing here is future projection and things like that. All right, if they mentioned anything about tariffs, future projection, anything like that, you don't necessarily have like the best buying here in any way. So you got to break through. You got to see something good for JP Morgan. Let me look at my charts with some extra things on them for you guys for JP Morgan. JP Morgan is booming back into the monthly expected move. If you look at a 30-minute chart, you're starting to see that bar. It is booming back into the monthly expected move. As of right now, JP Morgan is as of right now, JP Morgan's seeing something a little bit crazy to the upside, huh? As of right now, JP Morgan running into a potential weekly expected move soon. Actually, pretty much already did. That was pretty much your weekly expected move. So, all right, now we sit and we wait and we wait and we wait and we stop freaking out every single day. And we just go, hey, let's enjoy some volatility. If it turns down, there's probably momentum down. If it turns up, there's probably momentum up until there's a decision made. Are we going to break these lows? Are we going to take back 550? Dubs, it's kind of hard to tell what's going on over here. This is at risk of being very, very troublesome, right? If this thing screams higher like it is right now, that's not necessarily a great sign. That can really put pressure on stocks, especially on stocks like this guy, right? IWM. Let's look at an indice that would really be affected by it. But IWM's been going down, down, down for a long time, so we'll see. But it can be just pressure on the stocks. Now, these things can change dramatically based on what the Fed says, based on what Trump's doing with tariffs, right? A lot of things can change this based on still data, right? So there's a lot of things going on that could affect these. So it is going to be very, very, very difficult to really be able to just like be like, yeah, this is going to be great. Now, one thing to take into consideration, daily divergence at the lows. So we had signals for this. This is why I was talking to my brother on the phone for 2 hours the other day. We had signals for this to drop down. Where is it for the month, right? That's going to be a big deal. Where is it for the month according to TLT? Is this an overreaction? As of right now, anything below 87.08 would be an overreaction. This seems like an overreaction. Now, that's how we'd read into it now, but in hindsight, we're going to possibly see something really bad be exposed and then be like, okay, maybe it's justified now. But it just goes risk to reward wise. This is exactly where this would potentially stop. Weirdly enough, down at this gap fill is where that would probably stop, right? That would be where the probabilities are pointing to right here. Does it mean there's a trade setup? Does it mean, I can understand how something is most likely to move. Does that mean it's an opportunity? That's a key thing too. Does it mean that it's an opportunity? And that's kind of what I'm getting at there, right? Is this an opportunity right now? Do I see anything that helps me out with this? Have we filled this gap yet, right? There's a lot of things going on right now. So it's kind of hard to dictate, but you could say this, the 10-year yield, Trump wants that to be going down, right? We want these yields to be going down because he's talking about the interest on the debt. And now it's kind of like, whatever. Now, the interesting thing for me is that people discuss tariffs as super inflationary. And we were talking about how that's overall transitory. If they were super inflationary tariffs, that is, if tariffs were super inflationary, then China would have the biggest inflation we've ever seen. Right? But if tariffs are inflationary in the maybe medium to long term, then China would just be completely in an inflation crisis. They are actually experiencing deflation, which I think is very interesting. But, we'll see how it all shapes up. Gold is getting to those levels that's a little bit too crazy for me, right? We talked about 3,600 for gold. I can't believe that's like 34 to 3,600. I can't believe that's actually taken place. That's so crazy. But I can believe it when you go look at the chart, right? When you go look at the chart, you look at a daily and you see how that thing curled up and you're just like, yeah, this makes sense. We got there, right? And remember, we're looking at the 4-hour curled up and it never curled back down. So it makes total sense. This is very squeeze-like. This is just straight up, right? Straight up, which kind of worries me. It always worries me when things do this, and now you could actually have that significant divergence pretty much. When I take into consideration, and maybe we need to go look at some other things to give us some data points here. We need to look at GLD to get our data points, though. So GLD at 298.15. Okay, awesome. It could go a little bit higher, but this right now says risk to reward for the month is this is going to head down from here. The risk to reward right now says gold will head lower, but the environment you're in is that, right? I can see what's most probable to happen, right? I can understand the probabilities, but is it a good opportunity, right? Just because we talk about, oh, gold has to fall down or gold has a higher probability to fall down does not mean it's necessarily like the best opportunity in the world, right? Now we can look at 4 hours, we can look at these things, and if the 4 hour starts to turn and we see confirmation and we have that line down here to pay attention to, we could say, yeah, that's very possible, right? And maybe that's a trade setup. I want a trade setup so that I can make a plan for it, and then I can make a plan for if it goes wrong. But gold's going to be very difficult to fully navigate. We can understand how it would most likely move, but that doesn't mean it's necessarily like a great opportunity. That thing is squeezing. So if you get bad news again over the weekend and everyone flies into gold, you could just see that thing take off. Took gold profit yesterday, 15% up. Hey, that's not bad. AMD's doing some good stuff. Let's go look over at AMD. Boom. Oh, come on, AMD. Hold that, man. Curl up, hold it. Leaving a gap behind, but still okay. NVIDIA. Gap's really close for NVIDIA. Microsoft I thought was interesting. I think Microsoft was interesting because that saw a little bit more vertical. As far as Google goes, very nice to be holding the 153.87. Resistance becomes support. That would be very, very nice. Still above the 5-day, right? We're still above the 5-day. GME, look at that thing kind of going again. right? The risk is we're going to run into this and then run into problems, right? See a big ass gap down next week. That would be not so good for GME. Looks like a lot of the semiconductors getting some love here for the time being. Nothing really going on for the SPY just yet. No, no short Fridays. I do not. I mean, I think like AMD would be one that would be a good potential risk to reward. I'm not saying that AMD is bad. I just decided that I'm doing options and staying heavily in cash for a long time. Right, I've had that cash position for a year and a half or 2 years now. So I am heavily in cash still, but that's why I do options so I can continue to make good amount of money. Now I like to do options a lot of the time, but I'll have investments behind that. I'm saying I'm not willing to take investments because I like to hold on to those for a few years. I'm kind of like Warren Buffett, where I got out at those type of times fully, and then I said, okay, now I'm just going to do options. But usually I do both. Usually I'm holding and doing options at the same time. I think if anything, I'm looking more at like the AVGO. I kind of like AVGO. Just to put it in there. And then something that's pretty cheap, right? Intel and things like that. I think Intel's very interesting looking from the investment perspective, right? If I, and I could always change, I could always change. Next week, I could have a feeling and be like, oh, yep, I do want to invest in Intel at these levels, right? I don't really lock myself down to, oh, I have to stay in cash until I see a mega crash. No, I want to stay in cash until I see things that are as good opportunity, right? I could say these are good opportunity as far as it goes. If I wanted to get Intel, well, I would not like to get it at 60, obviously, 65, 70, right? So it's down at 1843. I kind of like that, right? That's the kind of things I think about. But as of right now, I don't think my assessment's changed. I really want to see what goes on here with the tariff and how it actually comes out at the end of it all, right? I want to see what happens when it's over. I need to be proven, hey, is this going to be really bad for the market or good for the market in the short to medium term? Yo, it's crazy, Eternally Yours. Isn't it crazy? I mean, you can see the signs for it, just a weekly crossed up and boom, 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 boom. Whoa. I like that. That's good. Yeah, like the thing that people aren't considering is I don't know why people aren't talking about liquidity grabs. We have this box. A lot of people saying failed move outside of the box because we came into here. It's like, dude, you do that all the time. You do this all the time. Remember when we draw those zones? We draw those zones all the time, right? Well, just create a zone here. Like, okay, there's the price action. Maybe we even include the wick there and just go, oh, okay, what do we need to do to break out of a zone? Well, you break out of it, you retest in it, and then you go, go, go. Right? You don't want to lose that zone and see that next drop either. Right? So I don't see why everyone's like, this has to be a fake out. This is the biggest bull trap. Right? We're more discussing it depends on the time frame. If you're considering this a bull trap, you would consider every single piece of price action a trap at this point. I'm more saying, what's the actual major trap going on down here? That's kind of what I'm paying attention to. Yes, you could say bear trap, right? Bull trap, bear trap, bull trap. But that's just because you have extreme volatility and you were in some kind of range and you just broke out. All right, Embrew, have a great meeting, all right? Come on, Tesla. Tesla has huge implied volatility, man. But it's positive, right? Everyone's so like, this is bad, 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 bad. And I'm just like, Tesla's MACD on the 30 minutes positive. This is what you want to see. You want to see this 2 hour not curl down and go positive. What do you need to see? The 30-minute curl up. So 30-minute curl up. If the 2 hour crosses down, bad. 30-minute curls up, great. Is AMD still going? Whoa, 6.5%. Now, the crazy thing is we're almost like, I don't know, it's kind of like all the words they use in the media. Everything's desensitized. I feel like the environment we're in, like a 6% move, we're just like, yeah, that's a That's a regular Tuesday for us now. It's great though. It's great to see AMD perform. I really like that. I think it's great. Because AMD used to have really good signals and then it just gets wiped out, right? You still got to pay attention to that weekly, right? The weekly is really deep. So even if AMD sees a big run here for weeks, it's going to have to do a lot of work. It's it's going to have to get all the way back into these type of areas. I would say up into this area, 169.59. I'm going to take this line off and now we'll leave that second one. That little box here, you have to get all the way up to there and probably pull back and see another swing up. That would be to go positive and then see that turn down and be able to see the next move higher, right? So you're going to have to see a lot of positivity from AMD to build all this back. It's possible. It happens. Happens all, most of the time markets are just bullish. Why do you think the PCC, people don't really get worried if we're above 50 on the PCC? Why put side, it's like once you get over 1, right? That's really bad. You think in the very long run, like 5 years, we will see another all-time highs? I think in the next 5 years, you will see an all-time high. But it's, are you asking more like, are we going to keep making all-time highs for 5 years? I don't think so. I still think something really bad is coming. And people like don't understand this will have to adjust. Companies will have to adjust. They're going to have to invest in the United States. Companies are going to have to spend money and not have good revenue for probably a couple of years. See, look at Dave. I think we will see new all-time highs in the summer, but I'm super bearish. Do you understand the thinking there? It's like, yes, I think we'll get to all-time highs, but have we gotten rid of the actual risks before the tariffs? You guys remember all the other things? There's a ton of other things. I mean, just take one crisis at a time. Housing crisis, 1. Student loan crisis, 2. Just debt crisis in general, 3. The consumer debt crisis, that's another debt crisis. Credit cards, 4. Right? There's tons and tons and tons of these to where you don't even have to include tariff. Yeah. Okay. If that's your assessment, that's fine. That means you're more probably leaning towards bear market this year, right, Laps? Oh yeah, I'm thinking about doing another like the hedges are making tons of money every time. Every time. I'm like, geez. Pretty crazy. What time frame are you talking about, Kanik? Oh yeah, I did look at Bitcoin this morning. Bitcoin was interesting to me. Remember Bitcoin? Yeah, this is going to be horrible, right? What were we saying? Oh, there's daily divergence down here. Everyone's saying Bitcoin's going down, down, down. I think it easily could have went to 69,000. Saw like a flash move down there, 69.5. But if this just curls up, well, you got divergence here. Weirdly enough, it's triple divergence, right? Weirdly enough here, divergence there at the same time. And you're getting confirmation from the RSI, and it's even getting above that center line possibly today. That would be a great thing. But price action's doing it. RSI's doing it. MACD lagging behind like usual, especially on the daily side of things. That thing likes to lag behind. Not bad. Not bad. Wanted to look at volatility. I really thought this would see another swing up and we'd go down to test 502. I would love the test of 502. I think that would be fantastic. CRSR for an entry now. Looking prime. CRSR? We'll go look at it. If it's a penny stock, though, I ain't fucking... Oh, okay. It ain't too bad. What's Crosshair Corsair Gaming? I like me some gaming. You guys know, I like me some gaming. Hey, it had the same signal as everything else. Boom. Had it on the curl up here, but you can ride that to the 5. Not bad. 5's where it's, resistance comes in. Haven't broken this low. We got to here, got to up in these elbows, got to the wick really, but overall, maybe making that right shoulder that could have been. Bam. We're right at the area where you would like to stop. Once you start to violate this, that's when I go, okay, this is not even good consolidation at this point. But we'll watch out for it. 30-minute curls up. Where is it? Close to the center line. 2 hour, very deep. So just be aware of that. I know nothing about this company, but it seemed to see some good price action. Very strung out. That might be daily scale. Daily rejection divergence there. So daily really low. So the most likely thing for this is probably to test 884. You get past that, you could go all the way up to like 1067 and still see something bad. Interesting times. I love it. It's a lot of fun to analyze. It's a lot of fun to trade, honestly. It's very I would say it's a little bit difficult to trade if you don't understand the craziness you could see. Yeah, see the 10 years reversing. That's good, Dubs. Keep an eye on it for us. The 10-year is something that we want to keep our eye on. I don't think we see... Do we see a hint here from the 2 hour? Oh, you do. Okay, you have potential divergence here. Now, it unconfirmed. That's something to take into consideration. A good confirmation completely snapped the other direction. Now you're starting to look like, hey, is that a fake out, right? Is this 2 hour going to pull down? Can that curl down a 4 hour chart? What's the 4 hour chart suggesting? It is suggesting it has divergence on the RSI, and that can cause a reversal, but we really want to pay attention if this holds up better and then just curls back up into positive territory, as that is decently far away from that center line. And thank you, Andy, for subscribing. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My CRSR target is only 720. That's not... See, that's very tamed. I like that. What up, Tall? Yeah. So just pay attention. We have levels for that. TLT, we have levels for if you're seeing maybe an overreaction and you're at those levels. 720. Do not say 9. I swear, Ta. Trump understands that the stock market is just a big controlled game and he is playing it well. Well, the thing for me is this. I really want you to understand how you just should not be listening to anything that makes you over emotional to the market, because it's just when a certain this is how you can overall tell also who's controlling the media. Okay, when this was happening, what were they telling you? Oh, it's not that bad. It's fine. Everything's good. It's okay. This is transitory. It's fine. Transitory. Oh, and then we drop and we drop and we drop. Right? Around here, they were talking very good about these drops still. They were like, inflation's a big problem, but it's transitory. It's going to be okay. All the politicians, all the media goes, this is not something that's too much to worry about. And guess what? You go through pain for a longer period of time, right? Now, with a drop like this, I mean, you can say that's more directly down, right? This one got a few bounces in it before it actually went, right? This is a higher percentage move to the downside. And they're saying, be fearful, be fearful, be fearful this time, right? That's 20%, 21. That's big. That's a big, big time. But they're telling you, be scared, be scared, be scared. Well, why didn't they say that over here? Well, because it's all part of the game. It's all part of the game. Everyone has a narrative, is what I'm getting at. Everyone has a narrative. And what we try to do is not necessarily have a narrative or have a narrative, but pay attention to what's actually happening in front of us. This is the reality of price in the stock market. This is the reality of this. Right? Everyone's saying, we're going down another 10%. Well, we said there's divergence. If that confirms, watch out. Something big is coming. This is your hint. And something big came, right? We can have our narrative, but we still go with the probabilities. That's how I like to do things. And if you're watching this channel, sometimes I say we. What's Tesla's expected? It's over on Patreon, but I actually don't know it off the top of my head. It's probably huge. It's 180% or something like that, right? 180% for Tesla. Oh, sorry, 120% for Tesla. So a lot can happen. Nothing's happened so far. This is the most lackluster morning we've seen, I feel like. Actually, this was probably a pretty lackluster morning, right? Right here. That was the most lackluster morning. Maybe we see that again. Very nice to be going, not able to do this yet. Very nice to kind of try to do that the other direction, but still overall holding very, very controlled is what I like to say. What's that vote at? 59% say yes. So there are some, and that's where we consider, position size and those types of things. Very nice move for JP Morgan going into the weekly expected move, getting a little bit outside of it. Don't worry, it's going to get fun soon. Let's go, Ta. What are you thinking, Ta? I want to pick your brain. Because guess what? Isn't today a 9? Today's a 9 count in some way, I think. I think. I don't know. I haven't been keeping track very well, but I'm sure that I'd have to count these because I don't have a count on right now. 11. So we're looking at, what is it, 9 and 13. I'm not a big believer in that. I'm not the biggest guy that utilizes that, but hey, I kind of look into it. Signals pop up. Okay, cool. Consumer expectations is in 2 minutes. I got to refresh all my data over here. PPI came out at -4%. Supposed to come in at 2 or 1. Man, super inflationary. I thought we might see a little spike in inflation, like people are trying to buy stuff before, people are trying to do things before these tariffs hit. But yeah, so far, all the inflation readings have been coming down, which means that 10-year going up is very, very interesting at this point. It's like the opposite of what you see, right? Oh, hey, we're experiencing lower inflation numbers, so the 10-year has to go up. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I have the consumer sentiment up. I'll be announcing that in a moment. Exactly 100% makes no sense. It's just the bond market probably freaking out due to, and China maybe selling their bonds. Yeah, we can take a look at MSTR. Yeah, if they're not cutting rates, it could put you in a worse spot. MSTR, very nice, actually. Very nice look to it. I like this. And really, you would like that to hold up potentially at this wick, and you kind of pull that across and you go, oh, wow, that's kind of nice. That's not bad at all. If this curls up, oh, look at that. It's curling up. Maybe this bar really matters. Now, we can take our time. We could fill this gap first. We could still be heading down. You could see a 2-hour cross down. That would not be good, right? We understand that a lot of these charts are the 2-hour crosses down bad, right? We understand that part because they're still negative, but that's going to be very, very rapid if it happens, I would assume. So we'll just watch if this 30 minutes crossing up, then it's kind of difficult for the 2-hour to be crossing down. And Bitcoin has great reversal signals. So that means good things are potentially there for MSTR. If Bitcoin can show that positivity on the daily scale, then Bitcoin would go like this. Hey, guess what? MSTR would go like this. And maybe another guy you're kind of forgetting about might go like that too, and that would be GME, right? And GME has confirmed daily divergence, right? So I think that we're in a very interesting time. We'll put it that way. I still would enjoy if the market went and tested 502. Well, think of it this way, okay? I really want you to think of it this way too, JC, bringing up those type of topics. What did Trump run on? America first, for the people, American citizens first, American citizens first. So, whatever decisions are made, I think that mentality will be there. If it's not, I'll criticize it, right? If it is not, then I will criticize it. We should be worried about deflation. I agree. especially when considering tariffs. Weirdly enough. China has the biggest tariffs. They go through deflation. So make it make sense, folks. If we go through inflation because of it, it's usually it's pretty quick and it's transitory. At the end of the day, I think everyone should just go to an even playing field. I think that would be awesome. And then certain categories have tariffs on them based on who does what better. That's how I think about it. But hey, I don't have to make those decisions. Thank goodness. Don't vote for me for president because I don't want to do that shit. No, thank you. Don't write my name in, guys. I don't want to be president. I do not want to have to make those decisions. Give my word. Always got to hedge in this environment. And that might be it for me, right? I might just take a short-term hedge at the end of the day if I'm going to hold things long, right? That's the decisions to be made. Right now, I still have a lot of green, so I repositioned from the low from yesterday. Had to do it all. Had to do it all while I was feeding a hippo, pretty much. I was feeding a hippo yesterday while this market was going a little bit bonkers. Take a look at SPX. I mean, we're on the SPY. It's similar. It's pretty much the same type of scenario. You see the almost exact same type of things. Now you can look at futures. Futures would really help you out. Now, the reason futures would help you out is because a 2-hour confirmation is better. It would suggest a little bit more strength, but we'll see. Look how flaggy this thing looks. I mean, you look at this, you're going, whoa. Sorry, god dang it! I just clicked like a million times. It looks so flaggy here, but we're still holding the 5. That is something very different. Look at this. When you hold the 5, we get this longer flag. Let's see if we get a longer flag. Because when you lose the 5, when you lose the 5 after trying to take it back, not good things. So I don't think you want to lose this 5, or else you could take out these lows, go make a new one, and then I potentially will be leaning towards bear market at that point, right? Bear market's kind of a, what's the word for it? I think it's like kind of up to the person, right? I'm sure there's actual definitions for it, 20%. But to me, I'm going to say, yeah, this will lean me more towards bear market just because of the behavior. Actually, if we did this, I'd really lean towards bear market. 30-minute move up, 2-hour move completely down. Then we see another upside move. That would really make me go, this is behaving like a bear market. 15-minute and see if it's going to the 95% line. It can. I would like it to. That'd be awesome. As of right now, it's curled up. I mean, that's overall saying momentum is still a little bit that way. It's very lackluster. I don't even think you're going to get good things from the 5-minute to really give you the best hints. I just think I would like to see some kind of downward move in order to get an upward move next week. But hey, we'll see if news ever drops. PCC dropped 26%. Wow, that's a big sentiment shift. How'd the sentiment come out? 50.8, still above 50. Now, that was supposed to only be at 54.5. But it came in at 50.8. So how are people going to read into that? Well, let's watch how this moves and see how it ends at the end of the day. So please join us for the live stream later today on Rumble. The link should be down there in the description if you want to make an account real quick and join us over there. Very thankful because a lot of people joining over there, right? A lot of people shifted over this week. It's a crazy week. I understand we all want to be looking at this stuff and trying to figure this out, trying to figure out the best decision making. I get that. So yeah, come join us over on Rumble for the closing stream, the power hour. Okay, next week, retail sales on Wednesday. Building permits, housing starts on Thursday. Not the most big data next week, actually. Hey, 50 like. Thank you guys for liking the stream as well. Appreciate you guys. Okay, JP Morgan struggled at the weekly expected move. IWM. Maybe IWM can give us a little hint here. Just need to see if these things confirm up. Now, the thing is, do we confirm up and just see another volatile move? If we do, and then there's no really good news behind it, just watch out. It might mean here is where I might be doing my hedging. In case we see that big move on a Monday, I might hedge in those type of areas. Seems like an okay thing to think about. Thank you for all your content learning, and you're the best. Hey, thank you, Jamie. Thank you for saying that, Jamie. Appreciate you being here as well. Thanks for showing up and talking in chat and hitting that like button, supporting the channel. That's awesome. We just want to get to as many retail traders as possible to show, like, you know, paying attention to your own analysis and making your own plans is much better than trying to read into every news article that you see. So thanks for shouting that out. Like this video now. Like the video and join Rumble later today. Yeah, YS has been coming over there. The wise man. Bear market will be confirmed once we get a proper lower high rally. Exactly. Yeah, and what leans towards that? This move would lean towards lower high, in my opinion. If we can see that upside going into next week and we start something good and we get above 250, I'm a little bit better off. We can still make the lower high and still potentially have that bear market, right? We don't want to be like, it has to do this in order to do that. No, we want to say, this is how we see it right now. We will see if that changes. Yeah, Justin, the reason that I simplify it is if I'm wrong, but I understand position sizing, I am most of the time seeing this, I am most of the time going to be right. This easily could have been wrong, right? It easily could have, but the higher percentage thing was this is going to go like that. And we talked about it on Patreon. It's fantastic. We talked about it during the live show. It's great. That was the higher probable thing. It doesn't mean that this couldn't happen, right? It just means I'm going to put myself in the environment to make the most amount of. I'm the black. What is it? I'm the blackjack card counter. I see the cards. I count them, count them, count them. Now I'm ready to go. Now I say, now I risk, which is great. I'm getting the 5 moving average with the higher time frame to get the blockiness versus smoothness. Yeah, we go over it. We overall show you how to do it. The blockiness versus smoothness is just this. Now this is something that, like, you can take it into consideration. It's not going to change too much. I just like to see it develop during the day, right? This is going to overall weight. It might just sit there. If we just open it up, though, it's going to adjust in real time. Versus waiting for the time frame close. So whatever time frame I'm on, it might adjust afterwards. But yeah, I just that's all you have to do. It's just a little toggle button there. But yes, we do discuss in the course how to get the 5-day on, how to really get that set up. That is something that we added just recently. So if you do not have the 5-day on and you've taken the course, by the way, you don't have to pay extra when we add videos to it, okay? You have it all the time. Anything that gets added to it that I see as something you could utilize, I like the 5-day. It gives you a good sense of, like, direction and retests. And it is set to 1 day, yes. But we kind of talk about that on the stream because anything that I see as, like, just something good that can give you a little bit of hints or direction or an area to pay attention to, we try to shout out on the stream as much as possible. Bingular, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll have to go back and check the course. I don't know if we specifically discussed that exactly, but it's just this button right here, just so you are aware, Robert. And Robert, I did listen to your song at the gym the other day. US getting deals done would put pressure on China. Yes. 75 countries have come and tried to come to the table, apparently. That's the information that we have been told by the administration. That's a good thing. You know, the only one who retaliated, China. The only one getting punished right now, China. Yeah, Robert, I dig it. My wife digs it too. We like it. And apparently, then my buddy called me and he wants to go to the zoo again. He wants to go to the zoo again on Saturday. He kind of got jealous, I think. So we're gonna have a play day at the zoo on Saturday. That'll be fun. You guys make sure have some fun this weekend. This is crazy times, right? So I know that I can go to the zoo and pay a small amount. I can do something relatively cheap for a good time. Yeah, market's not showing that strength yet. I think that's the hesitancy. This is actually what we want to see on a Friday. This is great. I want to see this sit here all day. I at least want the IV to come in a little bit. That will give us a better sense of direction when something actually does confirm. Because right now, no one's surprised. Weirdly enough, you would think everyone's surprised. This was a surprising move. This was a surprising move, but it's is really pricing in the volatility to where it's almost like we're not surprised to see these crazy moves. As of today, it's spread out dramatically. So since it's spread out dramatically by about 25%, I think it's spread out. So that would tell us that people are pricing in a lot of volatility today. What if you just see it sit, maybe curl down a little bit, then curl back up? Like that'd be great. Yeah, I'm gonna hold over the weekend. I might take a hedge at the end of the day, depending on price action, though, Debs. We'll see. I still think there are risks. I really would like to test 502. I'd feel more comfortable holding over the weekend. But if we make an upside move, I'll probably be taking some kind of small short term hedge, like a week going into next Friday, just in case we get that downward move to create the 2 hour complexity, the 2 hour divergence. Right? If we do this on like Monday, I'll be saying, ooh, okay, now the probabilities are going, yes, upside is still very probable, right? Every single time we came down here, boom, come down again, make a 30-minute divergence. That's the difference. You have a reversal signal on the 30-minute there. Boom. You have a reversal signal if the 2 hour does that, which means boom can happen. It's built up for a long time. PCC really dramatically down though, and now it's just sitting. 25% down, 0.88. Still, that is considered neutral, by the way, just so you are aware. Overall, that's considered neutral. And a lot of the times when bottoms form, you actually see this cross through. So we'll see. Not all the time. It's a decent majority of the time, though. Right? You see the bearishness, and then it shifts. My calls are to May 9th. May 9th, May 9th, May 9th. I just read them off. Very nice. I'm having to move that position a lot, though, by the way. Justin, just so you're aware, I moved all those positions yesterday on my phone. But I'm having to move them a lot because, like I said in my video, position trading, getting that solidified position a month out, proven to be troublesome because you can make money on the swing up and you're very likely to see those swings down. So it was like, take some profit, see that go down. Okay, take the rest of the profit. Then if we get to that 95 line, I'm back in it. Okay, awesome. We see if this thing can make the next move and see something crazy on Monday. It's been hard to do that, but it's really turned in my month. Like the crazy part for me is the way I've been taking profit, especially after this move and this, if I would have just done like 2 weeks less, oh, I'd be filthy right now. I'd be filthy right now. What's this, Dustin? Punished how? How much are we exporting to them? Try to elaborate, Dustin. Are you talking about China? Because when it comes to China, it's how much are they sending over here? because the way that it really works is there's actually a very good explanation of it that a regular guy gave, and we could watch it. I need to find it though. I really like the explanation. It's just a regular dude, just some dude who seems like, a construction guy breaks it down. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, this is like this most simple and best, like, because I'm not the best at explaining things all the time. I try to make things very simple. And so the fact that I saw that video, I was just like, damn, that was the best way to explain it possible. So I'll try to find that video. Maybe we could watch it on Saturday. I think deals are going to get done. I think more and more deals will get done as the first few deals come through. And then I think China will wait and be in a lot of trouble when it's all said and done. And they'll realize we're very dependent on other people's consumer bases. And so we need to react in some way. Yeah, gold's still not overall correcting. So nope, it is getting to very risky areas to start positions long for sure. But that thing can keep screaming. A lot of people calling what 3,600. I think I said 3,400 to 3,600, something in there. Is it there, by the way? It's been going nuts. I want to see. It's a 32. Oof. I don't know, man. You see a lot of traps set up like that. It's not easy to trade this, by the way. I'm not going to short gold. I want to make that very clear. I'm not thinking that this is going to be an easy thing by any means. But yeah, a lot of the time that can end up as a trap. You can still see a couple of days of positivity, but more times than not, that's going to trap you at the high if you're starting a position. That looks like a daily trap. Yeah, short position is difficult. Yeah, but you could say that the other way, right? Technically this with gold, just so you're aware, all right? Technically with gold, what has been happening with gold, right? Go to here, daily. Let's just pull up GLD real quick and just look at gold. Okay, well, technically with gold, ever since the market dropped, it dropped with the market and then started to go up really, really rapidly. Barely consolidated, went up again as the market went down. Then the market went down and it went down at the same time. Then, as the market is still remaining at lower levels, it's going up, right? So overall, though, the market has gone down and gold has gone up. So weirdly enough, it's like, oh yeah, gold can crash with the market. It definitely can, but if it holds this correlation, the opposite might happen. I'm not someone who's going to trade based off of that though right now. That's not what I'm doing. I'm more so just like, let me see what this actual stock market itself, what do these indices tell me by the end of all this? And it tells me, hey, things can still be crazy for a while. Correct. I'm talking China. Yeah, we don't export much to China. Yeah, we really don't. Not in comparison to what they give to us. Oh yeah, but I get Bronco. Here's the thing, and I wouldn't get caught in this game of history and seeing how things exactly happened that time. Every single time can be completely different. It could be very similar. It could be the same, but it could be very different, right? I could go find a time where the SPY crashed and gold went up very dramatically. I could find a time where gold crashed with the market, right? Do you know what I'm saying? Like I could find those in history to prove myself right. Just pay attention to what's happening in front of you and the time you're in and making decisions, right? I'm saying to myself, shorting gold is not maybe the best decision unless I'm taking a far, far out position. Yeah, and see, Bronco, I think that's what you're. Yeah, I think either way, gold has the opportunity to turn down, but comparing it to the market is rough, right? Saying gold has to come down if the market goes down. Gold has to go down if the market goes up. How about I just look at gold itself and say, hey, which way is that likely to go over the next few weeks? What's happening with the market? Extreme volatility with extreme uncertainty. If you're trading in these times, you're trading in one of the most volatile times I have ever seen that has continued to be volatile for about almost 2 months. So you're experiencing uncertainty, and that's why volatility is extremely elevated. Volatility now starting to curl up here, right? This is where I want to see a test. I really want to see a test of 502. Go do it. That would be bad for my options, by the way, if we go down. Don't care. S&P undecided. Everyone is waiting for the next step. And that's how I think it is. And we can see big moves, though, with the volatility that we have. Yeah, it's a good time. I'm having fun with it. IWM I see not doing too well. Look at that. It's probably reacting because these yields are going absolutely insane right now. I think an absolute emergency cut is on the table in the next couple of months, man. If this keeps persisting. Looks fun though. I dig it. Oh la la. IWM down, 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 down. All right. Let's see where a daily move is, right? We'll give you guys a little hint there. Why not? You can go about 4 points lower for the monthly. Below a monthly. The weekly would say much deeper prices are possible. The weekly would say much deeper prices are possible. Just so you're aware. So really be watching these 2-hour chart, or even, you might even go into hourly, but because that's by the center line. You can even go hourly. That wouldn't be the best sign, especially for something like IWM. IWM has probably the most probability to cut that low, but IWM's not what I'm paying attention to for a bear market, or at least higher probable bear market. Still watching the SPY. Look at that hourly by the center line, but it's somewhat positive, so a higher low is possible. But we're aware that that's close to the center line, so watch out just in case. But still, again, just even if it does this, starting a position here for downside is that'll go wrong for you more times than it'll go right. I understand if you're thinking about it here, like that in my mind can make sense for a short-term trader, but for a position guy like myself, who's had to almost turn into a day trader because of this price action for a couple of days here, if this were to happen, I'm not saying I want to do that because I think we could just whoop at any time. I really think this is just like you could hear good or bad news at any time. And here's the thing. Let's think of it this way. 75 countries came to the table, one retaliated. 75 countries could give you good news, one could give you bad news. Like when I think about it like that too, I just go, what if we get 20 pieces of good news all at the same time? That's how I'm thinking about this. I'm just like trying to weigh it. And I'm like, China's going to be putting their economy completely at risk if they don't come to the table and they're not able to make deals with other countries. That's how I'm viewing it at this point. I'm just like, now, do I think the market makers, if they wanted to squeeze this market, do I think they want to see people getting calls today? Probably not. So we probably want to see if that comes down and then the PCC rises dramatically and people think crash, crash, crash again right as we get to that 95% line. I can tell you what my plan for today is have that little bit of cash on the side to, if we go down to these levels, I might start to buy some things again. That'll be fun. Emergency cut on the table next week. You think so, PC? Have you seen that written anywhere? Because I think in the next couple of months you got to be watching for that. How much wish can you get? 200% tariffs? Well, you had Kevin O'Leary suggest 400% tariffs. Emergency rate cuts rarely end well. That is true. But rate cuts are something that you can probably look through historically, Dustin. It usually depends on the narrative towards the rate cuts initially. The rate cuts initially can be bad, right? People can read into it very poorly, but it's about the narrative from there. If the narrative is we're cutting rates because we're going into recession, probably not good. We're cutting rates because the economy looks really strong and we think it can withstand it without some inflation. And actually, we're going to experience some deflation over the certain time period. So this looks like a good sign for the future, even with the short-term turbulence, right? There's ways that they could word it. I'm not suggesting they're going to talk about it next week. I don't think that's. I'm just saying I would watch for that. I would say just watch for that this year. But be right back. I'm gonna go grab a long sleeve to slip on. About to go to the gym after this, so be right back. Yeah, Dustin, give me a moment here, and then we'll come back. Well, I would just look up rate cuts, find those dates for me, and maybe we can look at. I'll look at it on my other screen. Be right back. Why waste time and go get a jacket or a pullover when I can use my wife's nerdy Evie blanket at her all pink setup? Yeah, this is a comfy ass blanket. This is comfy. My goodness, she always buys the softest things for herself. Thoughts on earnings season? Man, 50-50 flip. Oh god. Unfortunately, that's how I view earnings. Usually, I stay away from it. Usually, I just stay away from it, but or look for something that doesn't have earnings. Let's see. Actually, I want to go here. Let's try to do this for Dustin. Let's do some fun little research. Let's see. Going down, down. See, I thought my most likely scenario was we are going to head for a test of 502. Am I betting on things, right? That doesn't mean I'm betting on things. Okay, now I can pull up charts here and we can maybe see what happened here. Let's go look at these times, see if we come up with something. You know, sometimes when you look up stuff, it just doesn't really hold water, but 19. Okay. Go all the way back to the beginning. The emergency cut, October 15th, 1998. We saw upward price action after the cut, after the emergency cut in 1998, October of 1998. That's one. That's only 1 point, right? And we don't think it has to behave exactly the same. We're just looking back for funsies, pretty much. You actually went to a new all-time high that time. Let's see, January 3rd, 2001. January 3rd, 2001, you saw a big uproar, a pullback, and you made new highs. So after you got the news of that emergency rate cut, you saw a move of 8.8% to the upside, and then it failed and it turned down. Not a good sign there, right? But still, upward move first. 50, that was a 50 basis point cut. The 1998 one was only 25 basis point, kind of like a quick emergency cut there, but only 25 basis point. The basis points do kind of matter. I kind of want to look at this 75 one because that's probably a big one. I want to see the bigger one. This was January 22nd. January 22nd, you saw a low put in with the rate cut, and you saw an upward move of 11%. And then you actually went down back to those lows again. You revisited the lows after that. And then from those lows, you went up over the next couple months. It was 14%. And then it got much worse. After that, it got much worse. Let me see if there's another big cut in here. And then we have a recent time. Let's check that one. 100 basis points. 100 basis points. That had to be COVID. All right, we're just looking for fun. Whoa, God, this market went nuts after all that. Holy crap. This was COVID, right? Let's see, March 15th. You saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days of downside and found the actual bottom on March 15th. Now, that's probably a different scenario, right? Because we know that there was huge money pumping, right? Fed go brr back then. But you were 5 days away from the bottom when that cut came in. So just interesting. I'm not reading into it. Am I going to sit here and make trades based on that? Not necessarily, but I could see that. Hey, upside does come from a lot of those times where we get any kind of emergency cut, whether it's 25, 50, or 100. Usually the smaller emergency cut seems to perform better unless you're in like a crash moment and there's more to it, like COVID. Yeah, it's not a for sure bear. It's not going to be a for sure bear market at all because of the things we're going through. 4 hour looks bullish. Yeah, I did hear some people talking about 4 hour charts crossing up. When I have my coffee in the morning, sometimes I like to listen to Mike Schwartz. He trades completely different than me, but I've always tuned into that guy's channel. Me and him have gone back and forth in his channel for a long time. Me and him have like full conversations during his live show. He doesn't know it's me, but we do. It's pretty fun. I like to bounce thoughts off of people that I like to watch or people that I like to see their analysis. Yes, yes, Saul. I actually like Mike. I've back before I had a YouTube channel, I used to watch his live show, even though we trade totally differently. I just like his discussions we would have. And every single time I brought something up, he would go, "Oh, wait, that makes a lot of sense." And that's how I knew, like, when someone with a YouTube channel kind of agrees with you a lot of the time, it's a good thing. At least it feels good when you didn't have a YouTube channel. Now I just do everything by myself, which is fun, and I just go in there to uh, pick his brain on some stuff sometimes. I like Mike a lot. I think he's a great dude. I would love to connect with Mike in some way, but I have no idea how to. I think he's a great dude. With the Fed funds rate back to the 50s, we can't go much lower before another 70s, 80s style spike unless we're going negative. Ew. Oh, his titles are clickbait, but that's the YouTube game. I'm not going to hate on someone for that. Why 4 hour did confirm up? That's what we were looking at. Sorry about that. 30 minutes still positive. Very flaggy looking now. Flags in almost both directions, but here holding up well. Yeah, he's a lot of the people that I trust. They understand the YouTube game. They play the YouTube game. unfortunate, but people are addicted to, they're more likely to click on something with negativity or like something that scares them. That's why the media only shows you things that scare you all the time. Literally find a good news media, right? We need to make a good news media company. What do you mean tool? You mean what, the charts? Try this game. It's you can go to tradingview.com, check it out. You can use it for free if you don't mind ads. They're getting to those areas, Oscar. So I wouldn't disagree with that statement. It's very hard to see. It's more of a risk to reward and being like have some conviction. But yeah, I don't think they've had the opportunity to base out or top out if you're talking about yields like the 10-year. I'm more talking about TLT, but yeah, it's going to be troublesome. Market is chopping people up in this range, keeping people guessing. Yeah, and I think that's what's going on. Eventually, you're going to see news, and either the market will really like it or really hate it. Either way, though, even if they really hate it initially, the crazy part is crash is still very difficult. Crash from here is difficult, right? This is a 20% down move. It's very serious. This is where you see bad things happen. So, but the probabilities for the month would just say that's the least likely thing to happen. See you later. Thanks for the thing. Thanks, Laps. Thanks for coming in today, buddy. Appreciate you being here. Thought I knew what I was doing and lost $500 in seconds. Yeah, that happens, but you were probably day trading. I don't day trade. I've been forced to reposition, which ended up being day trades for a lot of this week, actually, when repositioning things. But they ended up being profitable, very profitable. So that's always nice, but sometimes it doesn't go that way. I am not trying to day trade. I probably should, honestly. Probably should be. Which I guess I accidentally did, and we made great money on that up move, so we can't complain. Exactly. If you reclaim 5, if you take it very simple, Saul, try this game. Stick around for a while, right? Give it a chance for like a week, right? Give it a chance for a bit. See if you like the style. We use a lot of probabilities and statistics to really figure out like what's very probable, and then we use reversal signals like this one. So if you're here yesterday and you were listening, ooh, you probably caught that. Big shout out to the Patreon members. Hopefully some of them were able to capitalize on that. I think Jonna said she was able to watch that Patreon video and make some money. That's always good. We like that. You're able to make a decision just based on some analysis we give, and it's an opinion. You got to make your own decision, but Apple is at a level which breakout 183 for it to hold. Apple will be the risky one still. But as far as risk to reward goes, this is at the 95% line. This is when risk to reward goes, the risk is less to the downside and more reward to the upside. Right? Yeah, there you are, Jonna. What's up, Jonna? Trump even told us time to buy. I didn't really like that too much, but I mean, there's constantly everyone on the internet saying, hey, it's a good time to buy. There's the media telling you it's a good time to buy. There's Jim Cramer who tells you it's a good time to buy and the stock doesn't go up, right? So I'm not enough against it for that. Caught that move, caught that whole move thanks to Patreon. Hey, that's fantastic, Chris. Chris, were you ballsy enough to do a day trade with it? Because whoo, see, John, yeah, and with things like Apple, it's more about position size and understanding that this is the stock that can be in serious trouble if China keeps doing what they're doing. This is a stock that can really suffer. So as long as you have that in mind when creating the position, understanding the game you're playing, understand your plan and how it could go wrong. Well, it goes very wrong if China keeps messing around. I did a day trade with it, turned out pretty well. That's great. Awesome, Richard. Love to hear it. That's so dope. You have the president say, yeah, that's what makes it a little different, right? Because he controls actually what's happening, SH33. He controls actually what's going on with the tariffs. That's why I'm not the biggest fan of it. Netflix, is it? I always forget. NFLX. Yeah, okay, Netflix. I need to put that on over here, actually. I might add that real quick. There we go. Put that at the bottom. Netflix, potential for reversal here still, right? But ultimately, 2 hour crossing down. As of right now, what are you looking at, right? If you really kind of take this from a bigger lens, take in some more price action, look. Okay, well, if we wanted to go higher, we'd need to react to here, right? Okay, awesome. We did. We would need to maybe make some kind of right shoulder. Okay, we seem like we are for the time being. We can still sit in here for a while. We sat there last time for a while. We'll find out. 30-minute crosses up, we break through that, maybe a retest, and we can be off to the races. That's great. Higher low right here. Awesome. Boom to the upside. Oh, kept going a little bit. That's great. Okay, is all this worrisome? Well, no. Reversal signal, moves to the upside, breaks through the key level, gets to the next one, consolidates at that level, goes down into this area to retest. Oop, oop. And even a gap in there as well. So probably a very important box right in here. It's a big one. And then if you can curl to the upside, this looks like, okay, we were in this area, right? We broke out, we retest. And then if we fail and break that to the downside and retest and fail again, that's bad. But right now, you're breaking out, retesting in, and you're in positive territory. So if that thing can show some positivity, I kind of like Netflix. Let's zoom out on some bigger time frames. 2 hour crosses down, bad. But look at Netflix compared to everything else. It's actually positive. It's very, very good. Still, if it crossed down, would that be negative right away? Yes. So there is risk of this type of thing happening. Okay, we're aware of that. Daily scale, what do we see for Netflix? Daily divergence. Actually, thank you so much for bringing up Netflix, because you have daily divergence on Netflix. This actually means that Netflix can break out of this, completely reverse the trend around, and go make what? New all-time highs. That's what the signal is saying for Netflix. That's kind of crazy. I'm not someone who likes to trade Netflix necessarily. I don't have ranges for it. I could make them and take a trade with it, but I've already decided what I'm doing. But this is a daily that has confirmed with the RSI, starting to come back below there a little bit. And you can make a plan for it, right? Right? If this crosses down on a 2 hour, then that daily is not going to be going up. So if it crosses down on a 2 hour and does this and then curls up, now you have 2 hour divergence and a daily divergence at the same time. It's one of my favorite signals. That is when I hold and I go bam, and that goes and makes a new all-time high. So weirdly enough, in a month, we could be talking about Netflix up at a new all-time high. We got to see confirmations, and you got to have that plan for if it's going to go wrong. The market's never 100%, but that is very good thing. That is very good behavior from Netflix. It's very good daily divergence. Who asked about Netflix? Mr. Watson, thank you for bringing up Netflix. What could I do to make that actually grow? Well, it depends on what type of trader you're trying to be, right? In order to answer that question, I have to know a lot of things. And the very basic thing is I have to know how you treat money. So if you find here's a good question for everyone in the chat. Maybe everyone could answer. What would you do if you found $100 on the ground right now? What would you do with that $100? No answer is a wrong answer. This is not some kind of trap. What would you do? Save it. Perfect. That tells me a lot. Keep it. Okay. Who would spend it? Blow it on Doge. So you'd YOLO it. You'd be like, it's free money. Okay. Straight to the casino. Free money. All right. Buy some eggs. You might only get 2 packs. No, I'm just kidding. The whole egg thing's totally gone, right? Do you notice how there's always something? Strip club. Hey, Jim, now that's an investment. Buy 1 egg. XRP, right? Looking at that. Looking at this. Looking at that. Looking at things you want to hold on to, right? It's free, right? Give it to me. Hey, that's great, Chris. I'd appreciate that. I like me $100, right? But let's go through, try this game, because he asked. He said, save it. So does that mean to me that you potentially respect money, even if it's something like $100, right? You respect $100. To some people, that's a lot. To some people, it's a little, but you would say save it. Okay, awesome. Is $100 a lot of money to you? right? Answer that question next. Is $100 a lot of money to you? Not a shit ton. Just if you found $100, would you be like, oh my gosh, I sick, $100? No. So there you go. You're willing to say that even low amounts of money you treat with respect. So what does that tell me? I think that tells me, just someone who's talking about you, I don't know you, I don't know anything about what you actually do with your money, what kind of trades you take. It sounds like you would have the brain capacity to be patient. I think that with that small amount of information, you could be more successful as a position trader if you want to do options. I think you would be successful investing wise with that attitude. I think you would be a very successful investor with that information. Right? So if I say $100 is not a lot of money to me, but when I find $100, I'm going to save it. That's a good thing. So I would say that you are someone who could potentially practice patience better. Now, there are people who are patient in day trade, and that's how they like to do it. You have to figure out what you like, right? You have to figure out what you're good at and what you suck at. And that's how people lose money early on in their trading. Everyone loses money early on when they try to be a trader. Everyone. Everyone loses money when they're a trader for years, like myself. But we're better at managing risk. So what I would say is the better thing to do if I was just starting out and I, potentially wanted to make money over time. I'm someone who can be patient and I don't want to get rich in 30 minutes. I want to get rich in 20 years, 10 years, right? Then I have a lot of time and I can do things a lot differently than other people. So maybe stick around for a bit, try this game, see how I like to do things, see how we like to talk about stocks, and figure out if it kind of suits you in some way, right? Because right now we're overall talking about potentially, right? What I'm doing is potentially, building a position in the best way possible down at these lows so that I can be a part of a move and see some kind of upward move in the next few weeks. That might mean that I have to lose some money, right? That might mean that my options are all down for a period of time. But does that mean you're wrong, right? That's where the plan for if you're wrong. I put my first 500 in the SPY. Well, I think you're doing it at a opportunistic time, right? At least you're not saying, I'm putting $500 into SPY. You're saying, I'm putting $500 into SPY. So the basic thing of buy low, sell high, you have an argument for you're doing things overall correctly with the most basic form of, say, investing. So that's great. But you have to really dictate, and trade for a while and figure out what you're good at and what you suck at. If you're going to be like trading, and especially if you're doing options. Once you do options, you're going to be exposed to a lot of things you suck at. I can tell you that. Double Dark, let's go look at Meta real quick, and we'll just stick around with us, okay? Try this game. See how we talk about things. Well, as for the time being, okay, I'm really interested in this gap. We keep going into somewhere in this range, right? We can draw up that range. We see, we retest in it. Can we head to the upside? Very good price action for Meta, actually. Because what this tells me, I like when I see this. Boom, boom, boom. Because what that tells me is that's the second push down to take out this low, maybe take out some stops. So I can look at a 15. Okay, no hint there. I can look at a 5. Okay, cool. The 5 is showing a very extended divergence here. Very extended, but it is confirming. So I have to understand that this is a 5-minute chart and it can fail all the time. But this is a good sign that it's slowing at the 5-day moving average, testing back into the area we just broke out of. That's great. This is all good things. The 30-minute here could turn up into positive territory. And we have a 5-minute divergence in a 5-day that is suggesting IM support and a 5-minute divergence suggesting, hey, we could start to see upside soon. So what I'd be watching for is, do I see the 30-minute curl up into positive territory? Right? That's it. And then at that point, we would say, if that curled up into positive territory, it is very likely to test this high or possibly go a little bit higher. Maybe go up to 593.50. Maybe if it's really, really good and you get lucky, you go all the way to 632. That would be wild, but that would be where you need to get for Meta to show positivity for an extended period of time. Get a pullback from that level. Very nice. I don't think it looks bad at all. Now, 2 hour, if that crosses down, bad. But what makes it really hard for the 2 hour to confirm down? The 30-minute confirms up. All right, if the 30-minute goes like this, then this MACD is not going to keep going down. It's going to start going into positive territory, right? And that's how I overall think about it with things like Meta. And most of the stocks, they look like this. So all the assessment we just gave here, you're going to see all of that pretty much across the board on all of these stocks. Even on the little guys, I think. Even on things like SoFi. Same thing, right? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. We break out with the higher low, breaks out, curls back down, boop, boop, boop. All right, let's see if we can get it going. But all it's doing is retesting into the zone, and then if that retest is successful, then you can take out this high, go make a new one, and SoFi could end up to 1250. Very, very nice for SoFi. Got to check on some stuff real quick. Okay, we're good. So like this is not nearly as bearish as people are talking about it right now. It can get that way. It can get that way. 2 hour crosses down, hourly crosses down, right? We can look at Meta. The hourly is probably positive here, so that's a little bit different story. You're kind of in that area where this could be more so leaning towards pullback. Now, usually when it's by the center line, it can be an aggressive pullback, right? So it's aggressive because we're really close to that center line. So this could still go all the way down to 514.50 before it's able to turn back up. It could, because the hourly is pointed down, if that continues for an extended period of time and you cross the 2 hour, then you could totally take out this low. And I can tell you, if Meta did that, I would buy Meta with both hands. If I see this and then I see that, I would be right here going, yep, I'd be this guy, right? I'd be this guy. If I saw this drop down and it goes down to here, I'd be looking at it like this and going, is that as bad as it really seems? Oh, a buy came in. That's interesting. Well, the reward looks up here. The reward looks here. The reward looks here. So I'm going to be that skeptical guy if this happens. Nike for me, I can't remember. Is Nike like Vietnam or something? Like what's that dependent on? Either way, 30-minute divergence all across this. Now, this is very worrisome because you're overall holding price sideways, which means like a 2 hour crossing down can get pretty damn ugly. But as far as investment wise, I don't think Nike's like the worst thing in the world. I don't think it has the best price action to really take a trade. What you'd really look for is, do those 30 minutes produce a positive move that breaks you through these highs, right? Obvious resistances. You break through that, retest. Hey, you start to head up to key levels like 69. Maybe if it's really good news, you just see a boom. But Nike, I think more on the investment side for that guy. We'll see. Now, Dave, you saying Trump's folding? Got a feeling at some point today we will get some market moving news up or down. Yeah, that's very likely. 69. The most key level on every chart. On the daily, has a whale to buy a call. Could we check NVIDIA? NVIDIA is a similar story here. Once again, kind of stuck in this area, right? Stuck in here. You break out with the great consolidation. Bam. You come and retest. Okay, retest in it further. That's fine with me. Go down to the breakout area, right? I would love it if NVIDIA came to here and then curled up. Everyone gets bearish, and then we'd have to see a buy come in. You got to see that, positivity come in to see the momentum shifting back up, but I don't think it's as bad as it seems. And the reason for that is these 2 hours were actually able to go positive, right? So there's already big reactions, which most likely means big positions are already taken. So if the 2 hour crosses down, I'm still going to be like bad, right? Very, very bad. But if we can just see this and curl up, that'd be great. Even maybe go down to this gap, it'd be great. We'll see. That'd be interesting. So yeah, NVIDIA is just doing what every other stock is doing. It's reacting to a great level. It's pulling down after breaking out. It's pulling down to an even low. That's even better. Boom, boom, boom. Gotta curl up, maybe retest and see some, or just see something crazy. Steve gets me. Yeah. Okay, let's go over here. Let's see what's going on as far as what people are talking about. Apparently, 45 minutes ago, China hikes the U.S. tariff to 125%, but draws the line there, apparently. What else? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Gotta see those yields drop off. Nothing to go off of. We shall see. And the thing is, I'm not someone who wants to say, oh, I want to screw over China. I'm not someone saying that. I really don't. I don't want to screw over anyone. I just want it to be fair. I want it to be a good deal for them and a good deal for us. I don't think that's bad to say, right, Sensei and Evel? Thank you guys for subscribing. Maybe some kind of move around 5 minutes before the close. Maybe a move around like 5 minutes before the close, right, Rajiv? That's what we always see. Was to see the chart. Yeah, tradingview.com. You can set up a little account there. You don't have to pay. It's free. We have learning material, but I always like to tell new people, we have learning material down in the courses down in the description. But just so you know, try this game. Stick around for a while first, okay? I don't want to rush you into that or anything like that. I think you stick around, keep asking good questions. You're asking perfectly fine questions. 1329, thank you so much for subscribing. It didn't pop up for me, but I appreciate you subscribing, buddy. Maybe it'll pop up in a moment. I hope it does so we can see that little bouncy guy and it says, hey, thank you for subscribing. Well, your MACD right now is suggesting that the more probable thing is this is a pullback. As long as that MACD is positive on the 30-minute, then the 30-minute is suggesting positivity. The 2-hour is suggesting that this could be a 2-hour trap. Still, we need to see the 2-hour go positive. Where the heck is Ta? We have 13 and 29. What do you come up with that? Well, that's an interesting candle. It was for like a second, wasn't it? Every single candle's like, we're crashing. Oh, we're booming. We're crashing. We're booming. I'm from Perth. That's what's up. I almost brought my business to Perth, actually. Some of my soccer teammates were from Perth, too. So what's up? That's awesome. Nice to see you here, buddy. I'm about to have me some brekkie in a second, so... And maybe I'll turn on some Kath and Kim while I eat my breakfast in a little bit. I usually eat a late breakfast. Cheers, mate. you LOL. You know what Kath and Kim is. That's one of the weirdest TV shows I've ever seen. It's amazing. Means also the number of karma. What goes around comes around. 1329. You better treat everyone well, because apparently your life is based on just karma alone, according to Ta. Someone watches Bluey. Oh, Bluey's some good stuff. I like that show. 11 p.m. here. Yeah. Actually, I think I dated a girl in college from Perth. Or she was from Brisbane. I think she was Brisbane. Some good footy. Hey, that's me. That's me, man. One of these times, man, I'll join a summer league and I'll have to show you guys a little bit of my skills. I'm just trying to feel good about my soccer because career went kaput. And SPY's flat. The SPY right now is flat, but it's got a big booty, okay? Watch out for it. Okay, I'm gonna go look for hints. I like to look for hints. It's one of my guilty little pleasures. I like to look for hints because you have like the SPY looking like it's flagging to curl up, but volatility is curling up on the 30-minute right now. I know, and maybe Bitcoin's your hint though. Right now, Bitcoin not curled up on a daily yet, not out of the woods by any means. You other brothers can't deny, you know what I'm saying? Ah, see, that's not good. You're almost making a 2-hour double top for Bitcoin. 2-hour double top for Bitcoin, almost overall like lower high, but you don't really want to see that in my opinion. That means a 4-hour move down is pretty possible if that were to confirm. So if you see a 4-hour confirm here, expect you to fail this and possibly go down and test these lows at 74.8K. Yeah, we can look at something different. We'll go look at Costco and things like that. So does that mean we're going to follow Bitcoin's move and make a 30-minute divergence here by the end of the day? Oof. What do we want? Someone wanted Costco. We haven't looked at Costco in a while. Oops, it's in a similar boat. This held up really, really well. Really well. And you didn't remember the two areas to pay attention? Well, we said this block in a lot of them, but mainly I just want to draw this up like a kind of a box. And say, okay, redo it. And we went right into that wick, which is very nice. So if we can curl up from here, that'd just be mostly a retest. Very good little bouncing in here too. You see it on the 15? No. See it on the 5? The 15 is not even really negative. Yeah, you see the similar thing here for Costco. So the more probable thing is to use this as support now and turn to the upside. That's the more probable thing. But I would really be paying attention to price action, RSI, and then your MACD. And then looking at daily scales. Okay, rejection, possible rejection down here. That's a good sign. But then right away you see that and you're like, ooh, that's a bad sign, right? A good sign turns into a bad sign pretty quick. So hard to navigate in this environment. This is why position sizing will be very important. But as of right now, 30 minutes still positive. You're still above the 5. Once you lose the 5, you can get a little more worried. Once you lose this breakout area as well, I'd be really set on being like, yeah, we're going to come down to lower prices. But 30-minute curls up, positivity. Let's go. I don't mind me some Costco. Yeah, Rajiv, that's thinking the very simple way. That's just thinking of the probabilities and just going with that. Exactly, it's high percent. It can fail, but you're saying the higher percentage is we are going to land above this line by the end of the month, right? That's why, do you see why now, Rajiv, take what you're saying and then think about what I'm saying next. If we did this, do you see why I would be excited for that to happen in taking something here? 95% line. If we get outside of that, look what ends up happening. You see what I'm saying? Now, that can go wrong, but if I pay attention to the position size and understand that environment, I could say I'm going to be right when I see that more times than I'm wrong. And that's like trading in a nutshell. Be right a little bit more than you're wrong, or be very good with position sizing. Yeah. So what I'm saying, Rajiv, is I think this is an opportunity here too. If we would do that, I'd be pumped. Here, I think it's a potential opportunity, flagging, flagging, flagging. But here, I'd be like, now I have a 95% chance at least to get here with a 68% chance to get here. And I have room for that to make money to go up to there, just like here. Right? That's how we caught that move. But this one had a reversal signal. So we have to see how the MACD looks if we get down to those lower levels. Oh, shoot, my battery's getting low on this mouse. Damn it. Forgot to charge it. We'll charge for a little bit. We'll sit and chill for a little bit. Well, and for the PCC, I'm sorry, I'm having to use something else to move, so it might not be the best movement here. For the PCC, it's important to realize this has been elevated for a very long time. It is very unlikely that everyone has taken all of these positions out right at the same time. It's very unlikely that all of these positions above this red line are just done and people are just not bearish anymore. That's very unlikely, but we'll see. TLT calls going up while it moves down. Probably a lot of people risk to rewarding that. TLT is in the area for risk to reward to the upside as well now. Like these yields going nuts, the probabilities are telling you this is an overreaction, but it doesn't mean they can't. They're curled up with a daily divergence. So I'm not necessarily someone who likes to be like, oh, this is doing something crazy. When it has daily divergence below it, it kind of makes sense to do something crazy for me. So I'm not eager to put calls on that or anything like that at this time. But, risk to reward. If you're good at position size, that can happen. How's the zoo? Where'd you go? We have some place called Tanganyika. It's pretty cool. It's very nice. I got to feed a hippo. I mainly just treated it like a chill day. I didn't want to go feed a bunch of animals and do a bunch of things and this. I just wanted to eat a bunch of free food because my membership just gives me free food. So we just ate pretzels and cheese and burger and fries and all this stuff. I just kept eating snacks, and really just walked around. Our abuela came with us, so she took care of Ariana for a little bit for most of the time, and so we just got to be kind of free with it and just be like, okay, cool. Like, let's just hang out. Me and my wife got to like have a day just hanging out, doing something fun and relaxing. It was very, very nice. And in the middle of all the chaotic things going on in the market, it really was a blessing. Oh, Bruce is the hippo, though. We literally were talking to the handlers and we were just like, yeah, our dog is a lot like this hippo. And weirdly enough, Bruce likes carrots. We give him carrots. We try to give the boy some veggies sometimes. So we gave Bruce a celery stick before we went and fed Bruce 2.0 the hippo. And he got bigger. But when I last went there a year ago, he was like 250. I think now he's 500 pounds. You could look if you have extended hours on and things like that. There's going to be a learning period with it. Try this game. So if you're on extended hours, just see if this says RTH or if you're on extended. Oh, it's a blast. We're gonna go again tomorrow. We're gonna go to the other zoo tomorrow with my buddy. He's going through a little bit of a time, so we want to go hang out with him, have a little play date. Sorry, what? Oh, Richard, you didn't have to. Oh, you did it this way this time. Hey, Richard, thank you so much for the $100 donation over through the PayPal link in the description. Really appreciate that, dude. Oh, man, you're sticking to it, man. You're sticking to it. You're like, as long as Lucas remains helpful every Friday, I'm giving that guy a cookie. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. That is so, so awesome. Everyone's got to celebrate Richard. It's our classic Friday move. We celebrate Richard. We got to celebrate the guy. He had a good trade this week, so let's tell him good job. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Richard. Me and my family, we appreciate it, buddy. And there is a special date that I'm planning for me and my wife. So thank you, Richard. Now I can make that a little bit more special, right? Stinks that it doesn't show up here, but this way you get more of the spoils. That's true. YouTube takes a big chunk, but I appreciate it either way, man. And if you want it to flash up on the screen, I don't think it's just know that some of that's going over to YouTube, and that's fine. But I really appreciate it, Richard. You're awesome. I'm glad life's good for you right now. I hope it gets even better and better and better. Hope more setups like this show up, right? That would make life real good. Thank you, thank you. And we had some good donations for people asking questions and wanting to look at stocks. So thank you to anyone who gave a donation this week to look at some charts. If you can't give a donation, hey, there's always that donation of a like, right? Likes are perfectly fine. You never have to donate or anything like that. But thank you, Richard. We appreciate it. Nah, I don't care if I splash on the screen. Richard's like, I don't need the attention. I just want you to keep being helpful. Do you think SPY 30 minute could be a bull flag? Yes. Yes, NF. I definitely do. I mean, if anything, this is saying bull flag with your MACD as well. Like, I know we went through something aggressive yesterday, but as that crossed and went back to a higher level, we see up move and we see this. Pretty damn controlled right now, right? I would say that looks like a flag to me. Now, is that going to show that good positivity? We'll have to find out. What would you do with the $100? What I like to do, Steve, whenever Richard gives it out, is I like to give it back to my family. I really do. I like to, treat the girls to something, take Ari to something she's never seen. And Richard really has been nice in letting us do that. Sometimes, pretty much, I try to put that towards family time. And that's why I appreciate it so much, Richard. It just allows me in my mind to be like, hey, spend it on the girls, spend it on time with the girls, spend it on experiences. And then other than that, save the little bits for Ariana, right? Save it for her, I don't want to call it a college fund. I want to call it a whatever risks she wants to take early on in her life fund, right? That's how I want to treat saving money for my daughter. I don't think college is something that's fully necessary, depending on the field that you go into. Yeah, so that's how I've been looking at it. Yeah, and that and loading the boat. Pretty much, if Richard tells me, "Hey, we have to put $100 behind this stock because lottery stock said it's going to go up 1,000,000%," I'll do that. Right, Richard? You have to watch them and you have to find the opportunity, but right, Richard, we'll do it together. We'll lose that $100 together. Or what if he's right? Yeah, I do have a fun account, so maybe I'll put that 100 back into the fun account. The fun account is still just holding on to AMC and GME right now. Or options when she's 18. Well, that's true. I mean, I didn't want the money to just sit there. So if we see some very downside price action, I have all the stocks, a bunch of stocks that I like to look for as far as dividends. A lot of them are stocks like Costco and Kroger, Ford, and I think Toyota started doing one. I wanted to look at a couple of those. He just moves the fractal till he is. Well, that's the troublesome thing. Like, I'm not vetting YouTubers anymore because I do my own analysis like to a T. I never try to look at someone else's before I make mine. I really want to get my take out there. And then if something else comes up as important, I can bring it up. But yeah. for him, one thing I noticed was like, we talked about this weeks ago. It's like, yeah, but did you? Like, that's how I used to vet people when they say we talked about this 2 weeks ago. I have to go back 2 weeks and watch and be like, did you? The short squeeze world. Yeah, but we main thing is just, we're going over more how this market's going to move. What we care about on this channel, yeah, we like the memers. I can't lie to you. I like the memers. I think they're fun. I hope they pop off and disrupt markets. That's awesome. I'll make a shit ton of money. That's fine. That's my get rich quick scheme, okay? And it's not a very expensive one. So um but for the time being, the game I'm playing, hey, my target is still 10 years from now, 5 to 10 years from now. To 502 now, I still think it's a high possibility. I think it's a possibility going into next week, right? We want to take into consideration, weirdly enough, the better opportunity is down here. The better trade for what I like to see is down there. Chop that low. Everyone bets stock market crash, then it curls up, then I take that position, and then we see that either bear market rally or potential like hardcore, major bottom. We have to see how it behaves. This type of price action will lean me towards bear market. Will I be upset by that? Hell no. Hell no. No, 2022 was my best year of trading, especially like trading options. 2022 was my best year, like by far, because you saw I was doing positions, but I could do 2 week positions like I could have done here to make even more. But those 2 week positions are much more valid than if the volatility is sticking around. Trying to demo break 242, Tesla. Yeah, I just have to be quicker with it, right? I make a 2 week position, I only hold it for like 2 days, and then you're taking profit. Sometimes you're taking profit within like 2 hours, kind of like that move yesterday, like this move right here. So for Tesla, one thing is you've created a 30-minute floor. We need to see if that 30-minute floor is going to hold. As of right now, A, B, ooh, what if that's C? What if that's all the way down to here, C? Well, that would curl over the 2 hour. Would that be a terrible opportunity? Well, this would say if it goes down to these levels, I can pay attention to weekly expected moves, monthly expected moves, probably monthly expected moves as we are on a Friday. See that turn down. And if that would cross back up, that would suggest that your daily scale is going to cross up. What do we know about Tesla? It has daily divergence at the lows. So if you get one more big fake out move, that's what it's highly potential to be, a fake out move. The key thing for me, though, is this is a very risky time. So if I'm not willing to assume the risk here, if I'm bad at position sizing, then I might have to wait, right? I usually say I wait. I wait for that. You do have earnings coming around the corner and all that good stuff. So it's going to be interesting. As far as bank earnings goes, at least JP Morgan producing green numbers. That's always good. It's not seeing the best price action, right? Not seeing the biggest move. Not even seeing the move that was really like priced in for, say, like the day, I would say. Actually, we can check that because we calculate these things, right? We calculate these things. That's why it's great. Okay, let's go look. So the high side, it said this could potentially get to like 243. You are kind of nowhere near 243. You are 12 points away from 243, pretty much. So this is going to IV crush a lot of people. If this just kind of sits in this area, just stays in a little range here, that is going to really crush the IV. What's happening with the SPY right now? Well, you're potentially seeing this. If you see this the whole day, that would be crazy if you just see this the whole day. And then maybe at the end of the day, you start to see a curl up or a curl down. Ooh, that would be pretty crazy. Let's see if the IV's dropping, by the way. We can check that. That's the best part. I'm going to turn off my mouse and plug it in for a second while I'm on my other thing checking IVs. That way we don't die out or something. Dang. All my gun stuff is making the room smell like fire. There's a fire burning next to us at the range. Let's see. We're going to check IVs going into Monday. And there's a little bit of time. Yeah, IB overall dropped going into Monday. It's dropped. Was about 70%. Now it's at 47 ish. That's man, that means people won't expect much. Maybe not as much. That's key. It's still very large. Would you be able to add XLF, SMH, Mags, and or Netflix to the expected moves roster? I dare say it would be super helpful, especially for cross-referencing. I think that would be great. What I've been playing with and what I've been trying to do lately is form a whole new spreadsheet. I wanted to form a whole new spreadsheet and get it to where it's set up to where we have a lot of the indices, the sectors, and things like that, and we get expected moves for those, and then we get the okay, these are tech stocks, right? These are car stocks. These are these stocks. I would like to get a full range of them. That way, many people can benefit from the Patreon, right? If you like to trade car stocks, if you like to trade quantum computing, if you like to trade semiconductors, things like that. If you like to trade energy, right? If you like to trade oil, if you like to trade volatility, right? All these type of things. I'm trying to really formulate that right now. So creating those is a perfect thing to say in the chat. It takes me some time because that means I'll be doing more and more calculations. I don't just grab it from a platform. That's why I think mine are more accurate than, say, Thinkorswim. But I like to have the most accurate numbers, so I do the numbers myself. And yeah, it's going to take me more time with more of those things there. But I am working on that spreadsheet first, trying to make sure to get all those in. But whenever I start working on it, baby girl cries, and I feel really badly my wife lately for her to take care of her. She's been sick with allergy season, man. I'm just gonna, the downfall of my wife, her allergies are insane. So every year around this time, it's rough. So I got to make sure to help out this time of the year. VIX is up 45%. VIX is up 12%. Today, VIX was up 50% when I looked yesterday. Did you see that? That was wild. I thought for sure 48 was going to stop. It wicked below those levels, right? This would technically be your breakout around 49.86. We wick. That's good. But now you're looking for hints. And I think you're more looking for the hint from the RSI, right? If volatility goes like that, ooh, that would be a good sign that the SPY is going to do that. That would be amazing. If volatility goes and makes a new high, like a completely new high, ooh, that would be the more probable thing at that point. And that's ooh, that'd be a drop. Would I be unhappy or happy about it? I'd be pretty happy about it either way. All right, once you look at markets this way, I'm kind of like, I'm happy if it goes down, I'm happy if it goes up. And a lot of that calmness comes from position sizing. That's why we've been talking a lot about position sizing for the last, the amount of times I've said position size in the last month and a half is probably through the roof, and you're probably annoyed hearing it, but that's the truth of it. And new people come in every day, so we got to keep talking about it. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes left for the stream, and then I will be hopping off, and then we'll be going over to Rumble later today if you'd like to join us. So 5 more minutes here, guys. Palantir, I'm currently investing in Palantir at 88.91. Would you set stop today? That's up to you. I think stops are perfectly fine in this environment. I would say Palantir is one of the best looking ones as far as holding price right now. As far as pullback goes, I mean, this is what you really want for a stock, right? Find a key level. Now, I know that this is a key level. We should be aware that dipping down to $80 makes sense. Why? Breakout area, even with a right shoulder that could have been, right? So that's very possible. But as of right now, the behavior from Palantir is very, very good because you reacted up towards that gap fill day. You pulled down, filling this gap. Then you saw that support come in with the wicks. You didn't really leave a gap behind or anything like that, and you went. Then you pulled back down to retest into those highs. That's very, very nice because other things are dipping further into those areas, right? This is looking really, really nice as far as retest goes. First one, pretty good, right? But then failed, came back down to these type of areas. You're still in pullback mode according to your MACD. So I was just telling me, if we can hold that 86.14, if we can hold the 5-day, you see that blue line, if we can hold that, there's a lot of things going on right here, right now. So if that would just go bloop, then you're probably making a new high. Right? Palantir is very, very nice because it did not even go down to the lows, right? Technically, the stronger stocks would be the ones that made higher lows. And Palantir is that stock, and Palantir did it pretty aggressively. Off to lunch. See you on Rumble. I'll see you on Rumble, Richard, and thank you again for the $100. I really appreciate it, buddy. VIX was up 10% yesterday and so far today. Yeah, so 85% chance for an update in the next 2 trading sessions. My guess would be, that's why I kind of wanted a trap to the downside, by the way, Richard, just so you're aware before you go. Volatility was up by more than 10%, so we have a chance for a bounce in the next 2 trading sessions, a green day. And so I wanted to see a big trap to the downside, see a massive move on a Monday, and see some tariff news come out over the weekend. That would be the best case scenario to happen. Am I saying that that's high probability to happen? I'm saying I have no idea when they're going to figure tariffs out. That would be wild, wouldn't it, Richard? VIX crossed up on the 2-hour. Let's go check it out. Crossing up on the 2-hour as of now, but what's the bar look like and how much time do you have, right? It's always considering not just, oh, I see green, freak out. And I don't think you're freaking out. I'm just saying the 2 hours by that center line. This means that it is still very possible to go do something like that, right? But we have to see a good confirmation here. And this would tell us that there's risk for the SPY to go down and break those lows, right? So we got to see this confirm in an hour and 40 minutes. We got to see a green positive bar while it's confirming. All right. And the RSI is already doing what the RSI does, reacting first. That's great. So now we have some hints. There are risks that are piling up, that volatility could see another surge here. So what would fail this signal? If the 30-minute would cross back down and you'd start to lose these type of levels, right? You need the 30-minute to go down if you don't want to see another big volatile move to the downside. That's what I would overall say. You need volatility to go down on a 30-minute. If not, it can cross up on a 2-hour, and then it starts to add a lot of credibility to lower prices. We'll look at it. Sometimes you see that move from volatility, break through and make that new high, and then the SPY kind of isn't able to make the next low, gives you that higher low. So we'll pay attention to those things, and we'll talk about them in the Saturday video if they come up. Is Rumble a subscription? No, just follow on Rumble. Make sure it's a little different. Just follow on Rumble. Yeah, no reason to. There's no. It's all free on Rumble. All right, everything's free on Rumble. I don't know how to take the subscribe button off, but it is follow. Following is completely free. Yeah, subscription is kind of like a membership here on YouTube, and I don't know how to turn it off. Not gonna lie. We just started over there just to spread ourselves out a little bit. Who doesn't love corn? I like corn. We got a lot of corn here, Tom. A lot of corn. Bitcoin, pretty nice. Not able to curl down that 4-hour yet. Daily not confirmed up. Confirming with the price action, 8 hours left. That's a long time. Look at corn on like 4x. Ooh, that is bumping. Yo, corn is scaling up fast. What's that weekly bar look like? Ooh, corn. Ooh, very nice from the weekly scale. Corn, very nice. Okay. So sometimes you come down and you make that right shoulder that could have been. This time you didn't do that. What'd you see? Wicks, 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 wicks. You weren't able to break through. So that's very good. This actually means a weekly could go boom. That would be cool. Is corn a good investment here? Well, the monthly would say, previously back down to here. As far as corn on 4x goes, I don't even know if this is like the right thing, but as far as this chart goes, hey, monthly scale, boom. That says consolidation, and then boom. A lot of the time when you do curl up, you will see some consolidation first, and then you got to see if that produces. But this would say that corn could be a good hold for, 1 to 2 years. If that's even the right ticker there, but Pretty interesting. That's on Forex. Mohammed, thanks for joining us today, buddy. It's corn. It's corn. It's corn. What a meme. God, I miss Vine. Yeah, what are the daily expected corn moves? Are people going to be eating, investing in corn? I'm set up on Rumble. Awesome. Try this game. Thanks for joining us over there. We'll watch the live stream later. It's different over there. Try this game. We try to have some fun over there. We joke around a little bit, but because lately it's just been we only see a move in the last 5 minutes. All right, and I'm already past the time, so I will have to be hopping off, guys. Remember this, your MACD is still suggesting that this is a pullback. We have overall been flagging right now. If we see forms of weakness at the high, it might say, hey, it's kind of risky to take things or hold things over the weekend, but you got to make that decision, right? Don't believe that there only has to be bad news, bad news, bad news. Now, you've seen a lot of bad news a lot of the time, so that makes sense to pay attention to that more, but don't be ignorant to the fact that you could get good news. You could get all these countries coming to the table trying to react before these 90 days, but we could go through turbulence for 90 days until we see something solidified. So that's kind of crazy. But thank you guys so much for showing up to the show today. If you want to join us on Rumble for the afternoon stream, that will take place. I'll usually get on about an hour and a half before the close. So click that link down in the description for Rumble. Obviously, there's learning material. There's Patreon down in the description. You can go read that for yourself, make an assessment if you want to join and do anything like that. But thank you guys for showing up. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for liking the stream. You guys are fantastic. I could not ask for a better community, and I appreciate you guys. And let's just continue to be helpful and focus on making the best decisions for ourselves, for our trade, and have a plan for if that trade is going to go wrong. This is extremely volatile times. So having a plan for if the trade goes wrong and position sizing are two things that are very, very, very important in this environment. Thank you guys. Have a great one. Peace.